Welcome and GM back to the coziest part of Solana's finest podcast, Sol Brothers, markets, prices, charts, technical analysis. We got shit to talk about, like always. Eno, welcome to the show. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. We just nuked in the markets last night, so that was interesting. It was my night. It was probably for other people still daytime, but the US future markets opened with a splash, and right now it looks interesting right now, and there's reasons for it. So we're gonna cover some of these reasons. I think we have three big pieces of macro to discuss. If I'm not mistaken, in this part of the show today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Clarity Act and why it's not so clear what's actually happening, the tariff wars and how they are continuing, and also that Korea ends the 9-year corporate crypto ban and what that means for the markets. And besides that, of course, we also take a look at the charts. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, dude, let's check out the charts. I got my finger on the button, just ready.
Damn. I mean, it doesn't look good. I mean, I don't want to look at it, but let's do it. Let's just jump. Let's embrace the pain. Do you see that? Do you see that beautiful red candle here? Pew!
I don't know if beautiful is the word that I'd use to describe that, but yeah.
That's crazy. That is like just a easy 8-9% dump in less than an hour. Basically in 1 hour, right? On the Solana chart. And that is, yeah, that's painful. Not gonna lie. If there's people that were gambling for another high, then. But I don't want to say I told you so, but I did tell you that the top might be in with this fifth wave here to the upside, and that we don't need to print another one, right? There was another 1-2 setup forming, right? Technically. So if you, let's just forget about that red candle here in the markets from last night and see here. Yeah, like it crushed a little bit through the 0.618, like basically this level here. But that retracement right here, like this move, could have been a 1-2 setup, and then we could have seen one more 3, right? And then 4, 5. And then we could have completed this thing. But I think we're already done with this completion. And I don't know if you remember, but I hope you do, because if you don't, then nobody is probably listening to me here. But I was referring to this move to the upside as a corrective move into a resistance zone that is between $140 and $200, approximately plus minus 10. And we kind of tapped into that resistance zone already, right here. We didn't go too far in, but we did tap into it, and we necessarily don't need another high to retrace lower, right? And that was basically this A, B, C in yellow that followed after this decline that we saw basically starting last year in October. And that decline was the third wave in my analysis, and it's still the third wave right now. Everything checks out still. I don't need to change that wave count. The yellow 3 down here is still relevant, and right now we're in this fourth wave to the upside. And inside that fourth wave, it was an A, B, C, right? And then the C wave might be over. So actually everything here that is labeled the fifth wave of the internal fifth wave, the C wave of the corrective force structure, and then the larger fourth wave, they all might be complete with that push here. And now this is a pretty clear indicator that some sort of resistance was broken here. I can remove those flip levels because it looks like we're going down. And if this is an impulse, then it must be some sort of third wave to the downside. So I guess it's a 1, 2, 3. And right now we're going to consolidate. Right now we're going to, whenever it's every time the same. Whenever there's a huge flush or a huge pump, such a candle, right? Then the market is in indecision. And people are like, okay, what's going to happen next? That's a typical fourth wave, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to bounce off a little bit around here until the trend continues. And if that trend continues, we're going down. So I think it is not, definitely, it is a higher probability right now and not unrealistic that we will certainly go maybe retest those lows here and maybe even do one more final flush, because that would be that fifth wave here that's on the chart already since weeks or months right now. And the quicker we see that dump here, the quicker we can go up again. That's basically why I'm not that sad about it. Obviously, we all like our backs to pump, but I'd rather have one big more flush right now than going sideways in some weird triangle structure for like 6 months or longer, because that's one of these boring ass bear markets where prices just move between $140 and $180 for half a year, and nothing really happens, right? I'd rather have a flush. Then we can talk about some shit, and we have a lot of material because the head of comedy at the U.S. government did some funny things again, talking about Trump, and that's great. If he's done fucking around, we might, go up again at some point. Lots to unpack. So, where shall we continue with this? There's a lot of things to double tap on here, actually, when it comes to politics and macro and the economy.
Yeah, obviously we're in a little bit of a weird spot in the world, and I think one great place to double tap is to talk about a landmark piece of legislation that was slated to be voted on last Thursday. In fact, we had covered it last week on the podcast, but there have been some very interesting developments on that side, Simon. So maybe you can take us a little bit through, well, what the fuck is going on with the Clarity Act? What did Armstrong say?
Yeah, Brian Johnson. So So Brian Armstrong is right now not a huge fan of the current state of the Clarity Act. When we covered the Clarity Act last time, it was literally 3 days before the Senate was about to meet, get together, and have a discussion, basically initiate the next steps for the Clarity Act, with everything figured out. That didn't happen. They pushed it because there were pieces inside of that paper that didn't give the proponents of that paper the courage to actually sit together, because they thought, okay, we're not going to find a conclusion. We need to change things up. It's not realistic right now to do this. So they basically decided to postpone it again to the end of January. That's my latest date. I don't know if it changed, but right now it's around the 27th of January is the next meeting to be held about that topic. And Brian Armstrong, who's one of the, let's say, at least it looks like he's fighting for the crypto community with his interests in mind and our interests in mind, our best interests, which hopefully are not the same than what the banks want from this. He says that there's too much in there that is actually against what we stand for in this industry. And there's a few bullet points here that he lists. A de facto ban on tokenized equities, which is, well, I mean, we want to tokenize the shit out of the world, so that's not so good. DeFi prohibitions, also very not good, because we don't want unlimited access to our financial records. It's basically we're not upgrading the system, we're degrading it with that when it comes to user privacy and permissionlessness. Erosion of the CFTC's authority, stifling innovation and making it subservient to the SEC. Also probably not what we want. Draft amendments that would kill rewards on stablecoins, allowing banks to ban their competition. We also don't want that. We want stablecoins that are actually financial innovation, that will, bake a yield into the vehicle, that are new, that are more permissionless, that give consumers the exposure to yield that they deserve, without having to go through the banks and basically give them the largest chunk of the beta here, right?
Yeah, he's not the only person in the ecosystem who has concerns with this bill. Obviously, I've been waiting for this post a long time. I remember right before the Clarity Act was about to, go up for a vote, there was a surprising lack of posts. We looked for them on the show. That showed the other side. We were quite skeptical about what exactly was in the bill. Some people just called it the stablecoin bill, but it was more than that. It was clear that they were trying to regulate us out of oblivion. And Aaron Day has this wonderful summary post talking about all the different provisions in the Clarity Act that, in my opinion, make it a non-starter. So you've already covered a lot of these, but just to very briefly summarize, we have mandatory trade surveillance, universal registration, full disclosure to the state, mandatory government custodians. DeFi obviously is going to become permissioned, meaning that you have to ask for permission before you can build stuff. What the fuck? And your data goes global, right? So just goes to show that, like, you read in between the lines, and the government is clearly trying to do a lot more than just put prohibitions on yield-bearing stablecoins. They really are trying to get full visibility into what every American citizen does with their money. And one of the basic rights that Americans have is the right to privacy. So I think that this piece of legislation, as written, is a non-starter.
Who actually wins? David laid it out here as well in this post. Who's this bill good for, the way it looks right now? What is his opinion?
Yeah, I mean, he says that he's a lot more skeptical of God damn it, not Brian Johnson, Brian Armstrong, than the rest of us. I think that Brian is, yeah, he's mercenary, but at the same time, like I think at his heart, he really is a little bit cypherpunk. And so, but he does claim that Coinbase gets a regulatory moat. Chainalysis gets permanent government contracts to basically audit all of your shit. And BlackRock and Wall Street get clear on ramps while DeFi gets strangled in the crib. I think he's chosen the least favorable interpretation and certainly if that legislation were to pass, there would be winners and losers, and the losers would be us. But it seems like more like this bill was heavily influenced by the banks as well as the American government's own neuroticism around their ability to track how their citizens spend their money.
Yeah. Let's see. It's a tough fight, man, because unfortunately, a lot of people are in it for the wrong reasons. They just want personal gain, and if their tokens pump, they're happy. So if the Clarity X makes our tokens pump because it brings, which is realistic actually, right? Even in that form right now, it could pump the tokens because it will mean larger players have access to it and can come into it. So it might pump our tokens, but at the same time, it diminishes all the things we fought for and the values we fought for as a crypto industry, especially through phases like Operation Choke Point, where they tried it before more aggressively and more obvious to stifle down crypto. It was literally a bank alliance, like against crypto, and it was very obvious. And together with the SEC, they said we're just gonna kill the thing before it grows, and then we're gonna move on with our lives, which didn't work because we fought, like the industry fought for it. When I say we, I mean the people that actually fought. Like I didn't do shit, bro.
Simon, testing 1 2 3. Do we still have you? We might have lost Simon for just. Hello, Simon, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I know.
All right, and he's back. All right. Hey, what's up, buddy? The last thing that we heard you say is you didn't do shit to fight for the bill, but you are correct. There are other people who have been fighting on our behalf. So what about them, Simon?
Yeah. Let's just give the Wi-Fi so we have a clean cut, and then once I'm back, we can make sure that we cut this in the recording as well. But I'm fluent again for you. Just quick tech check.
You're totally fine. You're fine.
Cool. Yeah. So as I said, there's a lot of good people fighting for the cause, and I think right now I feel like we might lose our strength because a lot of people stop giving a shit and they're like, okay, whatever pumps our packs, push it through. So this is where I also want to shout out to people like Aaron. Maybe you can quickly share, if you still have it open, the website I think that he built that is linked in his tweet. I recall there was a website that he actually put together where people can go to basically just get a TLDR of the Clarity Act, which is like a 200-300 page paper. No one wants to read that. But he basically pulled out all the critical points, put them nicely on a front end for everyone to go through it and remember, okay, these are the talking points that are critical that we need to fight for. I think it's day2026.com or something. Did you find it? I have it here.
Yes. Yeah, it's over here.
Awesome. Yeah. So basically, for people that want to dig a little bit deeper and also have an understanding of the risks of the Clarity Act, to then go and talk about these risks with people, basically preach the gospel and make people aware, this is a good page for it. You can basically just scroll through it and find like a lot of the ins and outs of this proposal to be a little bit more in the loop, because I think a lot of people are right now underestimating of what the Clarity Act could do to this industry if it gets pushed through in the wrong form, where we could lose 90% of the underlying values we have been fighting for in crypto with this. And it even matches the theme we're in right now. Institutions are coming in, retail gets, a little bit more widely adopted and people come in for the wrong reasons. And yeah, so it's interesting. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that everything on that page is truth, right? Seek your own truth, compared with other sources, make up your own mind. But it's for people that want to get the critical view on the Clarity Act, it's a good place to start.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously, we have the excellent reporting from a woman named Eleanor Terrett to thank. So I'm just going to pull that up real quick. She obviously has done some really good work reporting what's been going on with the Clarity Act. So thank you very much, Eleanor. I know that she had a little bit of a spat with Brian Johnson. God damn it, Brian Armstrong about her reporting. I didn't really understand what they were arguing about or why Brian said that her reporting was inaccurate and why she clapped back. It just felt like it felt like they were talking past each other. I didn't quite understand why they were disagreeing. It seemed like they were saying the same thing, but disagreeing for no reason.
Yeah, I think it was based on one of the tweets that she put out recently, a different one, where she said something about Coinbase, that they might be wrong with something.
She said that they would withdraw their support with the bill as written, which is 100% true. That's exactly what he said. It's like it's not. It's like she wasn't putting like a weird, like sometimes the reporters, they'll take what someone said and they'll spin it into what they didn't mean, right? But she said exactly what he said. It's not like she paraphrased it. It was just like, this is what you said. And he's all like, well, that's not exactly what I said. It's like, well, okay, well, why are we disagreeing here?
Yeah, but anyway, like Eleanor is, I think, one of the more active people as well, fighting for and around the Clarity Act. So definitely another good source if you want to stay in the loop of what's happening there. And also, we are going to cover it more in the next days and weeks, the closer we approach decision times. But that hasn't been everything that went down in the past couple of days. So Clarity Act postponed. What else do we got?
Yeah, no, we also have this beautiful, long. Yeah, I know for a fact that Donald Trump did not write this. It's too many words for him. But he wants to buy Denmark, take it by force. I was really surprised to learn more about the details of who owns Greenland. That was a little bit surprising. The U.S. government actually does have a contract with Denmark that was negotiated after World War II. They technically can, take over Greenland if they wanted to. They could buy it for a certain price. So that's was a little bit surprising,
Yeah, I guess
from a legal perspective.
One of the reasons why he is so aggressive with it, because I think if there would be zero chance, I think even his, brain would say, okay, let's not even try it. But I think he kind of knows that he can. Similar how the US also took other places in the world, like the British Virgin Islands or some pieces of land that were originally not part of the US kind of continent. They also kind of took control over some of these places. At some point, they just bought them. And I think he's just trying to do the same right now. But the European Union Union said, yeah, no, not going to happen. We're not gonna just like give you a green ad right now. So then now they're basically a little bit in a fight. Basically, the UN, the European Union, against Trump and his government. And so the reaction of Trump was to say, okay, well, I mean, I got my tariff guns out. I used them before, I'll use them again. And now Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, and the UK, and Netherlands and Finland, they will get 10% tariffs on everything they are importing to the US beginning February 1st. And then the tariffs will be increased to 25% beginning of June 1st, more than double than what it is right now, if there is no deal between his kind of plan or his committee and the European Union when it comes to Greenland. It's time for Denmark to give back, Trump says. Sure, whatever. But he seems entitled to get that land, and he's trying everything to do that. The European Union has not reacted with, okay, fair, let's talk. They basically did the opposite, and they said, well, like if you do tariffs, then we'll do tariffs. Macron, France's president, responded to it. Europeans will respond in a united and coordinated manner. No threat can influence us, neither in Greenland nor in Ukraine. And I think they're now also discussing internally some pretty drastic trade war declarations, really. And that could impact the US, that could impact European Union, that goes both ways. And that might be one of the reasons why the markets, even they're not open yet, dumped in the future markets on Sunday night that much.
Yeah, yeah. It's so weird. Like he's going to war against our allies, economic warfare against our allies. Our allies are responding with, and like honestly, I think the U.S. has the upper hand here for I mean, not just because of the military, but like even let's just talk about the economic battlefront, right? It's like the Europeans can never agree on anything. So I mean, hey,
So
if
far,
they're
yeah.
able to,
Maybe this is what
they've
I
been,
need. Maybe this is
yeah.
what they need, a common enemy.
Maybe. I mean, the news is calling it, or the mainstream media is calling it, the bazooka option. So they are currently negotiating what the bazooka option looks like on the European side, but that would require them to actually make decisions, and that's a little bit hard for so many different stakeholders to come to agreement. They also sent NATO troops into Greenland, which was quite an aggressive move on Europe's part. But hey, if you're trying to protect your turf, that's exactly how you do it. You'd send boots on the ground.
I mean, Trump said it, right? He said like, okay, if we don't get a deal, then we just take it. And that, what are you doing there? If the president of the United States says that, I think as the European Union, you kind of have to at least symbolically show your people that you're there. It's the least you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one really wants this, by the way, isn't it? Like no one.
The
like,
only
neither
Trump.
the US
Trump is the
population-
only person in the entire world who wants this deal to go through.
Yeah. Interesting.
But
And
hey.
then, yeah, some of the people that are kissing his butt. But yeah, damn, man. Like this is, yeah, lots of tensions. It's not getting boring here in the world economy. There's like trillion other topics right now that are hot. And we do have one more, I think, that we wanted to cover in this section of the show, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Really big piece of news that we're seeing is over in South Korea, the FSC, which is the Korean equivalent to the SEC, has cleared firms to invest up to 5% of their equity value into top 20 tokens. So this obviously would include Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and maybe even Bonk, if I'm not mistaken. So legally speaking, you could put 5% of your company, the value of your company into, assets, digital assets.
Interesting. So basically that counts for every South Korean enterprise right now. They could all do that starting now. Okay.
Right. I think the asset that makes the most sense, or at least how makes most sense from the Korean perspective, is like, hey, if I want to hedge against the Korean won and the US dollar, right, and just have like a pool of capital that I know that will survive like a fiat crash, like the entire world just goes down, it would be Bitcoin, right? Like that's where you would probably bet your bottom dollar on it. It's quite fascinating to see a 9-year ban finally cleared.
Yeah. Do you think did you feel the government got a little bit more relaxed when it comes to crypto, and they're trying to kind of go with the trend of the world, which is okay, we shall bring a little bit more clearance here instead of just banning everything? Is that kind of the state of Korea right now as well? They're becoming a bit more open.
Yeah, Korea is definitely becoming more open. I think that stablecoin legislation has actually helped pave the way. Ironically, because the whole reason for the entire Korean government and the financial apparatus here has rejected crypto is because of the stablecoin UST. Terra Luna crash was obviously started by the South Korean citizen. Some people believe he's from Montenegro, or at least he thinks he does. He bought a passport from there, but. Yeah. When he got caught and sent to jail, he was holding a fake Montenegrin passport.
Fake as well. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all a movie. Kind of like this is how it feels like.
100%.
Pretty crazy what went on back then. But yeah, I believe this impacted South Korea as well. Like that was not good for crypto when that happened.
No, not at all. All right, so I think that wraps up
seems like over the hell.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. It does wrap it up. I think we covered it all. This was the macro and TA section of Sol Brothers. So if you want to learn all about prices and where prices might move next and what's happening in the world, then watch these clips. But if you want to get the TLDR and latest news on the Solana ecosystem, then we also got some content for that because we're covering on a weekly basis, on a bi-weekly basis actually, all the latest happenings on Solana. And that is a separate review from this one. So thank you so much for watching here, but make sure to check out the other clips on YouTube as well. Give us a subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one. Thank you so much.
See ya. Okay.
Alrighty.
Hey, Stream. How are you? All right, we're going to get into the main part of the podcast right now.
Okay. Let's do it. Are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
All right. 3, 2, 1. This is Sol Brothers with myself, Simon, and my good friend Ino, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to take you on the latest and greatest so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, how the fuck are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Hanging in there. I'm back in a more human time zone for me. I used to work late nights the past couple of weeks, but I'm back in Europe. I'm in the financial hub of Europe, if you want to say so. It's Frankfurt. And I am looking at a few news in the Solana eco from last week. And let me tell you, I don't know what's happening, but the title of today's show, the Everything Chain, definitely matches what happened in the past couple of days. There's everything being launched on Solana right now. So that's something we'll definitely dive into today. But we also have some interesting growth stats and numbers when it comes to Solana, as we always have. And we're covering some interesting news and updates from all kinds of projects on Solana that we'll dive in as well. And then there was a huge thing last week when you saw that first, how did it make you feel when Nikita said that InfoFi is dead? Did you have any opinion on this before we dive in deeper later? But what was the first kind of feeling?
I mean,
was it like hell yeah,
or I've never particularly cared about InfoFi, and I did find it quite annoying to have all this financialized spam. So I'm glad that all these finish this quest by commenting on this post. Incentives are now banned. That's actually really good news from my perspective.
Okay, we're going to talk about it later. We'll see about that. But where shall we start, for today?
Yeah, I think the first piece of news that we want to cover, and of course the first thing that we do every podcast is Solana by the numbers, is that the Solana's RWA ecosystem is now at a new all-time high with $1.15 billion in assets issued. That is a beautiful point to see. This post by, if you could pull up my screen, Simon, sorry about that. But yeah, Nick Dukoff, who's the head of institutional over at Solana Foundation, obviously has been doing a lot of work in Switzerland and all around the world to convince issuers to launch high quality RWAs, and then also finding other institutions to put liquidity into those assets. And so yeah, what you're looking at right now is at about $1.15 billion worth of RWAs issued on Solana. We are the #1 RWA chain, and this is just the beginning.
Damn. I think this is definitely one of the bigger trends that we had coming up in the past, let's say 12 to 24 months. And $1 billion is just scratching the surface. If you think about tokenizing the whole world, there's trillions of dollars we can bring on the blockchain. And I think everyone's talking about it. So definitely one of the verticals where I see Solana can actually take a very important role in global finance with tokenization. And this is just the beginning, guys. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, right. But that's not all, of course. We also have a report that's by Amundi. I think you're the one who found this report. Can you tell us anything about this report?
Yeah, so Amundi is one of the European asset managers that is kind of known for active management of different kinds of portfolios. So he's doing portfolio management. I think they're also putting out ETFs, and they're managing a few ETFs as well in Europe. And these guys are also on the RWA train now. So they put out a report on tokenization, and I think I don't know how many how many pages are in there? 158 report. So if I thought it's a good shout out to a piece of content that people might want to jump into if you want to learn more about tokenization. It will basically give you a little bit of the TLDR of what tokenization really is. And then it will also give you kind of the roundhouse kick from fundamentals, what it means to kind of set up tokenized assets on a technical level, over to regulation, what needs to be done in a regulatory way, and where are we today, basically the latest stage of it. And then also what kind of business can you build on top of that, and how do you actually make revenue as someone that is tapping into the tokenization market, and also how do you distribute these assets in this kind of new world that we're in. And lastly, also, well, where are we going in the future when it comes to who's actually tokenizing and distributing? So a competitive landscape overview. So it's a really nice kind of, like I said, roundhouse kick of tokenization. Like, it's definitely a content piece that I would dive into a little bit deeper if you want to learn more about tokenization. And I also think that seeing people and companies like Amundi putting out these deep research pieces is, yeah, it's interesting. Like, it says they didn't think about tokenization 2 years ago, and now they're basically allocating a whole research team to dive into it, write a report on it. Like, if they're not moving on this, I don't know. Like, it just makes sense. Like, if they make these research papers, they're also going to move on it, and they're going to offer tokenized assets very soon. And I think our job is going to be to bring these people on the blockchain. And luckily, we do have some companies on Solana that are bringing these people on the blockchain. And I think that's a good pivot for the next one, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's no coincidence that the RWA all-time high coincides with a 25% increase in TVL. And so, where is that 25% coming from, Simon? It's actually coming from something called Prime Markets, which is it's a token that it's the flagship product of a company called Hastra, which is actually a subsidiary, or at least a partner company or a sister company to another organization called Figure. Figure, of course, provides home loans to American citizens so they can purchase their first houses. And Prime is a tokenization of some of those home loans, as well as some other RWA yield. Correct me if I'm mistaken, Simon, but I believe it's about 8% yield you can get on Prime per year.
Yeah, exactly. 8% yield from real loan repayments, kind of a stable yield source on chain that you can get here. It is fully liquid and transferable form because, you know, the ticker is Prime, it's a token. You get exposure on itself as well. You can stake it there. You can also just directly hold it. You can even loop it on Camino if you want amplified yields. So looping essentially means you're taking a small margin on top of your holdings to get more holdings. Very literally Finance 101 from the early times in Wall Street. But now we're doing it on chain, permissionlessness, completely permissionless. And I think it's really cool to see this convergence of very traditional APY products like home loans, right? In DeFi now, where you can then loop on top of it. Again, I said this before. There's so many financial products right now that we're getting in Solana DeFi that I would have zero ideas how to get that exposure and instrument in the real world. When I say real world, I mean traditional finance, right? For me, the real world is crypto. But I have no idea how to get exposure to this really. Like, where do I need to sign up, and what I can use for that, and how can I sell it, and is it liquid or not? I don't know. And if I'm already thinking that, what about the generation before me? So I think we're growing a whole generation of people that are going to be native to these sort of financial instruments distributed by companies like Camino or some of the newer neobanks that are integrating some of the DeFi protocols. Does it make sense? You know, like this whole
of course, man. Like, how the hell else would you? I'm sure there are clever ways for you to loop, let's say, treasury bill yield, or to loop, home finance loans that are backed by credit, right? But what's sexier than having really dependable credit-backed yield that you can loop to, like, let's say 20% or more, right? That's really, really sexy because that means that your capital, you can be much more capital efficient. You can get much more yield for the amount of money that you're using. And of course, every single loop strategy comes with risk. This is not financial advice. There could be a black swan event that would destroy your entire position. But if you were going to loop any type of asset, this is the type of asset that I would prefer to loop because they tend to be less volatile and also credit backed.
Can I ask you something that is related to this whole topic, just to get your check on it? The other day I had a stream going on here with Jordan, also known as That Martini Guy on YouTube. Shout out again for TMG to jump on the stream as well. And he said something that made me think, and I answered to it. I would like to see how you answered it. He basically said that and if he says that there's going to be others like him that say it, is too scared to put significant capital still today into DeFi, any sort of DeFi app. So now we're looking at a persona that is kind of crypto adjacent, like Ethereum, Solana. They don't really, like, this kind of persona doesn't really care about where. They used DeFi platforms before and they lost money because of some weird ass scams and hacks and so on, even in what looked like a trustworthy platform in DeFi. And then there's no support hotline that you can call. There's nothing, right? So basically your money's gone. You can complain in the comment section below a tweet, but no one's going to answer. And they're kind of burned, and they have this DeFi hack PTSD. And I was like, damn, like, these people exist actually, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, I would raise $5 million and put them in Camino without a blinking right now. Am I stupid, or is he missing something? Right? Like, do you have like a take on that? Am I naive, or do you think we're at the stage on Solana, especially right now, where we do have DeFi platforms that are more unruggable than before? And what gives consumers certainty to actually interact with these?
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. I don't think that Jordan's fears are misplaced. I think that the majority of the world feels the way that he feels. And there's really only two things that are going to fix that problem. And this is just historical to any new financial primitive. Number one is Lindy effect, right? So you need a protocol that has existed for more than a year that hasn't gotten rugged. And fortunately, Camino has been around since the early days of Solana. And every single year that they don't have an exploit or some sort of weird flash loan attack on the platform, every year that is true, is just another a couple points stronger added to the Lindy score, right? So at some point, whether it's 5 years from now or 10 years from now, they'll have enough of a quote unquote Lindy reputation to overcome that barrier. Number two is credit, right? Like, you're not allowed to call it insurance because that gets into a lot of regulatory concerns, but we do need insurance products on chain, right? And we already have some equivalents of this. So like, let's take Lulo as an example, which is a stablecoin yield aggregator. It directs your deposits into the highest stablecoin yields, and they have two products. They have Lulo Protect and Lulo Boost. Lulo Boost gets a small amount of percentage payment from the Lulo Protect pool, and they get more yield, but also in the case of some sort of black swan event, they are the capital of first loss, right? Whereas like the Lulo Protect pool, you do earn less. You earn about maybe like 3% as opposed to like 6%. However, in the case that some black swan event happens, your deposit is insured, right? There's someone underwriting that deposit, and that underwriter is the Lulo Boost pool. So we're going to need a combination of those two things. Does that jive with you?
Actually, I didn't even think about the most important point of everything, which is the insurance part of things. And we have it already. We do already have insurance products, as you say. So I think that is something that is becoming more and more interesting and important. The first thing that came up in my mind is like more of again, it's not a super strong argument, but it's more like, okay, do you see how much TVL in Camino is? And do you know who puts that money in there? Don't you think these people do their research? That's a little bit more like the way I sell it. And like, the audits they have and so on. So there's like some certain level of security. Anyway, TLDR, there's still a lot of shit to do here, and education as well. And we need more Lindy. So we just need more time without exploits. So far, so good on Solana. I think we're doing great. We didn't have I don't think there was a major hack or anything crazy that happened on the Solana chain for quite some time now. So that is definitely positive.
Yeah, there were a couple of hacks here and there last year. So Texture Finance had a hack at about, I think, 2 million USDC, and Loopscale also had a hack. But both of those situations were resolved amicably, and they have to rebuild their Lindy scores from zero. And I know Igor is working on some other stuff right now. So best of luck to him.
I can tell
Keep shipping.
Everyone is cooking on Solana, and the numbers are not lying. What numbers are we looking at now?
Yeah, I mean, one other piece of wow, we've spent a lot of time on this section, but there's, I mean, there's just too much bullish news on this chain, Simon. So Solana continues to surpass all L1 and L2 chains in DEX volume for the 21st consecutive week. Jesus Christ, Simon, it's not even close. We're talking about $28 billion worth of volume compared to Ethereum, where that's more than 3 times the amount of trading. So I mean, clearly we're dominating that volume.
Yeah, and when I was looking at these numbers, I thought to myself, okay, I see this all the time, right? I see like, okay, Solana's doing $28 billion of revenue on the protocol level, right? What is it? It's in DEX volume. Sorry, it's doing 28. Correct myself. It's doing 28 billion in DEX volume in 1 week span. So okay, now we have that number doesn't tell me anything. But then I compare it to Ethereum, and I'm already okay. Good. We're 20 billion more than Ethereum, right? And we're more than 20 billion more than Binance Smart Chain, which is the 3rd largest, and so on. So it always puts us in a nice spot. But how do we compare actually to the real world? How does this volume of trading activity actually compare to exchanges, right? I'm sitting in Frankfurt here right now, where we have the Deutsche Börse, which is the basically German exchange where you can list your token, where you can list your stock and trade your company and so on. And you know how much they make per week? Like how much volume is being traded per week? It is between 25, 27 billion. So right around that number. So basically what I'm saying is the Deutsche Börse, which is it's a decent exchange, right? Or we do have companies in Germany. There's the DAX. There's there's stuff happening. There's people trading. We do around the same amount of trading volume in a week than Solana DEXs. That's in for all. And I'm taking it with a grain of salt because that is a snapshot, of Deutsche Börse average and one good week on Solana. We might have weeks on Solana where it's different. But I think the trend is going in a direction where we're surpassing these kind of exchanges, and it's only a 10x away from the New York Stock Exchange, by the way.
We are. This is a dead market, man. Like during the Trump trading craze, and like when we get to the next bull market, I mean, the volumes are going to be godly. We are going to quickly approach, NYSE volume. This is fucking nuts.
Actually, to soften this a little bit. The New York Stock Exchange is making 10x than Solana in a week on an average Tuesday. So they don't make so there's still but it's good. There's growth potential, right? There's still a way to go up. That's good, I guess.
Yep. But of course, that is not the only piece of bullish news or the last piece of bullish news that we have for numbers. Currently, crypto cards are doing $1.5 billion in volume every single month. This is an increase from $100 million in volume every month, going back to early 2023. Artemis has released this really beautiful report. Really recommend that you take the time to read it if you want to learn more about crypto cards and what's going on there. But the headline, Simon, is that they're not replacing Visa and MasterCard. They're using Visa and MasterCard. And Visa's eating up about 90% of all on-chain credit card transactions. So clearly one of these issuers is winning that battle.
Yeah. And so basically we're still using the same legacy frameworks and rails for our shit, but at least things are being paid in crypto cards, right? That's the TLDR here. Like Visa and MasterCard are still dominating, I guess. But at least it's not banks that are using them anymore to an extent. It's also a lot of crypto companies and neobanks, which is cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Simon. I think we have a lot of stuff that we want to cover. There's a lot of good tech on Solana, believe it or not.
Yeah, there's good tech. And since we're the everything chain, there's a lot that has been launched the past couple of days on Solana. So I think that is going to take up some of the next news section, which is just some quick fire updates from the Solana ecosystem here that we're going to run through. You ready to start, Eno? Do you want to give us the first one?
Oh yeah, let's do it. So of course, the first thing that we're going to talk about is Lit from Lighter XYZ is now available natively on Solana. Lighter XYZ's Lit token is now natively integrated on Solana, enabling efficient liquidity and order book trading, as posted by the Lighter XYZ account, with details on seamless swaps and community notes on boosted DeFi performance.
Lit on Solana. They're not the only ones. We also have STRK or Stark, the Starknet token, also now live on Solana. You might remember that little teaser tweet that was out there, but now the actual news dropped. Starknet Stark token is live on Solana via Near protocol Intense. So it's Solana, Starknet, and Near working together, facilitating unified liquidity and one-click swaps, as announced by Solana and Near protocol and Starknet as well, with staking rewards and initial interaction volumes. So that is also the next token that is now coming from a different ecosystem to Solana, but it's not the only one. What else we got?
Guys, we got so many tokens dropping, and not every time we don't have to use rage bait to get everyone's attention. So this next one is Fun. The Football.Fun token is now live on Solana. Football.Fun's Fun token launched on Solana paired with USD1, the stablecoin from World Liberty Financial, the company owned by Trump and his dumb children, on Radium for trading, as launched by Solana and the Football.Fun, with airdrop reserves and skill-based rewards for holders.
So that's definitely another one to check out. And then last but not least, that is there's like at least 2 more tokens I think that launched. One of them is Sora as well, which is also now live on Solana. They launched, I think, like end of last week. And it is a creator economy token from a very prolific project called Zora out there. And now you can also have Zora available in your favorite Solana apps, like swap it on Jupiter Exchange, buy it on Phantom, or put liquidity on Meteora in Zora. Welcome to Solana.
Solana mobile allocations just went live, anticipating the SKR launch. Solana mobile's allocations are live, launching on January 21st, enabling users to claim based on activity. There's 1.82 billion secret tokens allocated to over 100,000 users across 5 tiers, and the top tier allocation is set at 750,000 SKR in one shot. That is absolutely phenomenal, Simon.
Damn, and I just got my Seeker like 2 days ago, and it was just laying around in Germany for like half a year. Fuck my life. Anyway.
Oh, no.
Next one is Avicii Money. They have launched named virtual accounts on Solana. You can check that news post out as well. Avicii Money launched named virtual accounts, enabling self-custody fiat-compatible banking with yield on USDV balances. They posted this in a little explainer video on their main account at Avicii Money. Pretty cool.
Pump.Fun rolled out callouts in its mobile app, a feature letting users highlight and discuss specific details or trends directly in the app. The user flow is to call out a coin every 6 hours and alert all your followers via push notifications. So now you have just found a new way to piss off all your friends.
Yeah, maybe, if you make it up the leaderboard, everyone's going to copy trade you, and then you can just dump on people again. Hell yeah, let's go. Next news is Titan Exchange's limit orders, which have launched now with select USD1 pairs, another collaboration here with WLFI. Shout out to the BD team of World Liberty here. Titan Exchange launched limit orders for select USD1 pairs. You can check it out on the exchange right now. You can buy, sell prices with advanced execution. And they say it has 20% better fills than other limit orders that you have on Solana, because it's a so-called true on-chain limited order. Not 100% sure what that means, but check it out yourself and see how smooth it actually works. I tried it, and it is pretty decent.
Trojan on Solana, with their famous catchphrase, "You are our exit liquidity," launched its trading terminal with over $5 million in rewards for early users, featuring advanced charts, MEV protection, and cross-chain tools, with 5K in signups in just a few hours. And you too, using their trading terminal, can become Trojan's exit liquidity.
But the $5 million in rewards are definitely juicy. So check it out. Don't get broke though. IBKR Interactive Brokers added 24/7 funding with USDC on Solana, enabling instant deposits or withdrawals for trading. They announced this on their official Twitter account with a rollout post. And I have to say, this is another legacy player in the finance world that is, well, utilizing stablecoins on Solana for a better user experience. It just makes sense.
This is actually probably one of the bigger pieces of news that people are not paying attention to.
Yep.
IBKR does basically all of the money settlement in the world, and we can get to day zero settlement with this integration. So fingers crossed on that. Anza announced SIMD 0339, which is now live on Solana DevNet. Solana Improvement Document 0339 raises the CPI account limit info from 64 to 255. So programs can pass larger account lists through cross-program invocations with fewer workarounds. The upgrade is already live on DevNet starting from Epoch 1008. And I recently was speaking with the team about integrating a new Sanctum product called Sol S. And one of the concerns, or at least the things that they were talking about, was, well, how many accounts does this use? It's because the account limits are so, each account takes up about 33 bits of space. Which is a lot. So if you want to do multiple accounts without lookup tables, you can now do so on DevNet with SIMD 339.
Nice. I love when Anza's shipping because it usually makes things better on Solana. I'm really grateful that we have them.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
What else we got? What else we got?
We are going now into the deep dive section of our podcast, and you had already very helpfully hinted to this, right before we got started with the podcast. But this is there have been some pretty big. Okay, let's just pause for a second before we go into this. Can we just agree that X has been the timeline and posting and engagement has been kind of dog shit and weird, and like for the last month, it's just been weird.
Yeah, I think weird is a good word for it. I didn't feel like it's creepy. Like I didn't feel like it's super bad, but then also you don't really feel that you get sucked into a different sort of content exposure. And then when I thought about it, it's actually true. Like I saw less of the stuff that I probably want to see, and more of this like general just Twitter clout, which like Trump doing that, and I just like all this drama, which is relevant, and I want to know it as well. But I also want, like, what do you actually want from Twitter, right? Like, why are you on this platform? Okay, one, let's say you're a creator. Okay, then you're.
Looks like we lost Simon for just a little bit, folks. I'm going to take a screenshot of this just because I love how.
So yeah.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah. So why is my Wi-Fi so shit? Is another great question to ask. I don't know if you heard the question before that, but let's give it again 5 seconds so we have a clean cut for when this shit is back. I love when the hotel says the description super high-speed Wi-Fi, but then it just breaks up every 30 minutes for like 5 seconds, and you can.
I just love the irony that Frankfurt is literally one of the most used financial data center cities in the world. People literally set up servers in Frankfurt to get access to the exchange there, and yet your Wi-Fi is shit.
I don't know what they do. It feels like they're sucking out all the internet capacity with data centers, and then they're giving us the change, like in those hotel rooms, and then you get the leftovers of internet data bandwidth. Anyway, I was saying, why are you on Twitter as a consumer, right? And what do you want from the platform? And that's a question I want to ask you as well, not just you as a consumer, but what do you think consumers want? Like, imagine, you're putting a persona on an individual and say, okay, this is the typical Twitter user. Obviously, you need to put people in a bucket here, but that's okay for the sake of the thought experiment. But what kind of people are, or what do people expect from Twitter? Why are they on the platform? Let's start there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, it's clearly, it's two things, right? Like, one is it's an exchange of ideas, right? So you want to get surface area with ideas that you might not have otherwise have encountered. Like, you have some of the best thinkers in the world writing about their subjects on Twitter. So like on the one hand, I think content monetization works very well with this goal, right? Like I want interesting stuff, subject matter experts teaching me things. They're writing long form posts about it. They want to monetize the content on that. That's fine. That makes sense to me. But the second thing is, and it seems trivial and it doesn't really contribute to the bottom line, but it matters for the vibes, is I want to connect with the homies, right? Like I'm trying to meet other human beings. I want to connect and see what they're doing and what they're working on, get their life updates. And this is not so easily monetized, right? Like, what people are working on, it might not be a banger, right? To the main timeline, but it certainly is something that I'm interested in. Like I want to know how my friends are doing. I want to know what they're working on. And I'm not getting that so much. I'm getting a lot of the first thing that can be easily monetized, which is like the article thought pieces, right? Really deep dives into something that's interesting. Like I get that part, right? But where's the vibes, man? Like the vibes feel completely devoid on the timeline right now.
Yeah, I think it has probably to do with the compass that the Twitter team under management of Musk right now has put in front of them, and that compass is pointing them in a slightly different direction, potentially. I'm not in their brain, but I think what you're describing is like the Instagram value prop a little bit, right? Like, stay up to date with your friends, like watch the stories of people, of the creators you love and the friends you would like to stay in touch with. Stories have been such a genius feature, by the way, because think about it. That's a bit off the topic, but in Instagram, you have this great, like, it is a very smart setup. You have reels that can reach everyone, right? You post a reel, it can go out there, it goes and explore, you get like different distribution. And then if people like what you do, if they become your friend or your follower or your fan, they will subscribe to your account, they will follow you, and they'll see your posts, right? So they also see the videos you post, not only the reels that make it to explore. So they become a bit closer. And if they then want to actually be part of your life and kind of see what you do on a day-to-day basis, they will watch your stories and they will come on the top of your Instagram all the time because you keep watching the same guy's stories all the time. And it creates a super close relationship with the friend you're having or the creator you have that becomes your friend, even though he doesn't know you, which is the best relation you can create between a creator and a viewer. And that's what I wish as well. It's like I want my viewers to be my friends, even though I don't know them personally because I can't know everyone in the world. But if any one of the people that follow me and watch me and so on text me somewhere, they know me already much better than I know them. But that's great. Like I'm happy. I'm open. Like I want to talk with them. I want to get to know them. Instagram is doing this very well, while Twitter seems to be more like what the other thing you said. Inspiration, thought pieces, thought provoking. Come here to get inspired, but also very big, come here to get updates, news, financial news, information, media, unfiltered media. Yeah, but
Yeah.
last point here, because I think it's really interesting, and then I'll stop. Jack Dorsey, and I just looked that up right now, pitched Twitter at Odeo in 2006 as an SMS-based status updater for sharing what you're doing with friends in real time. The value proposition was instant connections, ego display through brief personal updates. That was Jack Dorsey's vision of what Twitter is. I don't think that's Twitter today under Musk. Just saying.
Yeah. Twitter is becoming increasingly a media brand, right? And it's always had that function, right? It's just they're leaning into that very heavily. And the social media component of Twitter is being deprioritized, phased out. And so I have found my own workarounds. I tend to not look for the suggested tab and more in my own curated folders now. So that's kind of how I'm keeping my timeline a little bit more curated for me. But it's clear, even looking at those timelines, it's depressing, man, because there's basically zero engagement on people who are prolific posters and post a lot. It's even accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers that traditionally get hundreds of comments and likes, and they're getting nerfed, man. Like some of those posts are getting like 500, 600 views. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. But you know what does get a lot of views? This. It's just stupid. That's it, by the way. That's the post. It's an
Yeah.
article that is like that is dressed as an article, but it's just a satire post. It's supposed to be funny. How to fix your entire life in 1 minute. Step one: download Phantom, and then obviously
Yes.
it's a ode to Dan Cohen, I suppose his name, who wrote a fairly good article, not gonna lie, about how to fix your life in one day, and that got super viral, and now everyone is making fun of it. And these posts right now, they get 2,000 likes and millions of
Yeah,
views.
it does seem like whatever engagement is not being given to posts that used to do really well. Like I had a post the other day. It was just a screenshot. That's all I did. It got to like 90,000 views. I was like, what in the fuck? It was like, which is depressing. You look at my other posts, it's like literally like 0 engagement, 100 views, 200
Yeah, I
views,
get that.
300
Yeah.
views, 90,000 views. I'm like, what the fuck just happened here? You
Hmm.
know? Like
Why,
almost
why,
like 400 likes. It was a crazy.
what triggered people to engage with it? What do you think?
Well, because I had screenshotted someone's article about how when they moved from base to Solana within 48 hours they had made $4 million, right? And that got the base crowd really angry because like that guy's a scammer, like he literally supports Ponzi's. Like how are you selling? So then. And the post started off really slow, by the way. The first 24 hours, like basically 0 engagement. Okay, I'm used to this. And then somehow the algorithm picked it up, and then the base nerds got a hold of it, and then there was kind of a flame war between both sides. So that's why it did well. But it just kind of like the things that get boosted, like in the past, that post maybe would have gotten boosted to 10K, maybe 15, right?
Yeah.
But it got boosted to fucking oblivion. It's like at 90,000 impressions now, which is like what the heck,
Yeah.
you know?
Anyway, so Twitter is changing. Twitter is going through like some scrutiny of the head of product, Nikita. To give everyone the TLDR here of what happened in the past 7 days, it started with this. I'm going to pull up Eno's screen here. So Nikita posted this one. Now it got a lot of views. A lot of people talked about this. Everyone started reposting this. We will no longer allow apps that reward users for posting on X, aka he called it out InfoFi. This has led to a tremendous amount of AI slop and reply spam on the platform. So now they revoked the API access from these apps. So they basically blacklisted a set of apps from the business API and said, you are an InfoFi platform, you're blacklisted, you're not following the terms and conditions and rules that we just changed probably. So ciao cacao. And they literally obliterated full businesses within a minute. Because what happened after this post, and that is just exemplary of the aftermath, was this. They just got, sorry for my language, fucked in the ass. Kaito here, Kaito, literally, it is, I can't say it otherwise, because imagine you're the founder and you're like, it's a normal fucking Wednesday, whatever the day it was. You're not expecting anything to happen. You're like just tinkering on your thing and you're like, okay, I'm building InfoFi. I'm greatest founder in the world. And then you look at your token, you're like, wait a second. Who sold? And then you look on Twitter and then you're, oh, everyone. Now I know why. So that's basically what happened. Kaito's not the only platform. Obviously, there are others like Cookie3. They're the most prominent ones that I call out here. And yeah, I guess this was definitely the death of InfoFi. Everyone had an opinion on it. We have one. Ours is kind of the same between me and Eno. It's like InfoFi was not a net positive for the industry anyways. It was a lot of AI slop. It was a lot of wrong incentives set for quantity over quality. Just talk about my project, get that handle and hashtag promoted. So I'm trending, get my token out there, get my product out there. I don't care what you talk about, copy paste it, just go for it. Get engagement. That is just, it is too inflationary exposure. And that destroys the user experience on Twitter. So I think it is, like everyone says, a good thing. It will change how marketing works a little bit, not too much. But I did already give a lot of my takes on this topic in the last Solid Talk on Saturday. So if people want an even more deep dive, because it does touch also a lot of other things I do, then definitely rewatch the Solid Talk on the Solana Identity channel. Because I think me and Pierre, we kind of went through it in more depth than we can do it here today, because we have so many things we want to capture here at Soul Brothers. But yeah, TLDR, I think it's okay. It's good. I'm sorry for the people that got hurt by this, definitely, because that's the risk you're taking if you're building a whole business on top of one API that is very centralized. so it happened. I'm sorry for these people, but I'm also happy that we're getting potentially a little bit more signal on crypto Twitter.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, this is a nightmare for anybody who's working in InFi, and our heart actually genuinely does go out to you. It does suck if you're a builder and you put your basically years of your life into building out a product. And
shit happens.
I kind of I felt like there was a version of Kaido I really loved, which was advanced Twitter analytics, so you could see which voices really matter. Right.
I think they still do it. I think they still have products. By the way, they're not gone. They're going to iterate. The founder already gave out a few statements. I think that part of the business probably will find its way to survive.
Yeah.
The analytics.
So, but not gonna lie, I am glad to not have financialized spam on the app anymore. So that's a net positive. And of course, Simon, we are going to end with some really important sponsor updates. And number one, of course, we're going to talk about the main sponsors of the Soul Brothers podcast. It is Soulflare. What can you tell us about their new P&L, us versus them, right? P&L isn't just about profit.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. What you can do in the Soulflare mobile app and the desktop extension right now is click on any token that you have, and you will see basically your lifetime P&L in a few seconds. No syncing, no third-party accounts. It works on every token, everything you basically did with that wallet according to that single token. Every swap, every trade you did, you can see it in one little P&L box. It's a nice feature, but it might be painful for you depending on how you trade it, because you'll see the truth of your token performance here. But it's definitely a very good feature. And yeah, I don't really know where else I would get it that way. Probably there's some portfolio apps where you can get similar data, but this is the most clean user experience you can get here in the Soulflare wallet. Just click on a token, see your lifetime P&L on every swaps, every trade. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and Soulflare is not the only team with an update. Our friends over in SNS have also launched their Q1 roadmap for 2026, and they had a blockbuster year last year. I expect that trend to continue. So from infra updates to batch tools, community hubs, and curated auctions, 2021 is full of amazing surprises for you. If you click on this link at the tweet, you'll see the SNS roadmap post for 2026. And obviously, they have a bunch of progress updates. I think that SNS has one of the best community reporting and or feature distillation. I know FlashTrade also does a wonderful job as well, kind of coming up with these quarterly or end of year kind of like updates about the product and where it's going.
No, it's definitely good. And one highlight here from SNS roadmap is the very top of their page, which is the marketplace V2, which they're tinkering on right now. And I think it's going to probably launch now in the next weeks, very soon. I think we're very close to it. What did I say? V2 turns complex on-chain data into clear insights, making domain trading feel effortless. So we're going to enter an age of more seamless trading of Web3 domains via the SNS marketplace. Domains are a booming industry in Web2 since ever. Everyone who ever bought a domain knows that. It can get very difficult to get your wish domain, and it can get very pricey. There's whole marketplaces around it, whole structures being built. And SNS wants to positioning themselves as the home for domain trading on Solana. It's cool. We're going to see more of that, by the way. Yeah.
And last but not least, our friends over at FlashTrade. And a big milestone for FlashTrade is the listing of the first Flu-based market. What the hell is Flu, Simon?
I always forget it. Fixed little utilization.
Flexible lock utilization. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, flexible lock utilization. I can tell you what it is in a nutshell, which is easier for me than the fucking abbreviation. Very easy explain. It just helps FlashTrade to list all kinds of tokens on leverage, right? Instead of just 3 tokens or something like most perp dexes. The FLU tech stack helps them to list tokens like BNB, for example. Just quickly as that, they can basically do token listing in a day and slap a 50x leverage on top of it. And that's what they did. Now you can trade Binance coin on Solana on leverage.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
I mean that's the name in the game for every perp stacks is like how fast can they list assets that matter, because sometimes an asset only matters for a couple of days, and
Yeah.
if you have to wait, all the way towards, I don't know, few days or even weeks for an asset to get listed, then what was the fucking point?
Yeah, and we saw it last year. I think we saw it with Aura. We saw it with Zcash. We saw it with 00 token. Like these tokens were listed super quickly on FlashTrade, where you can actually trade the trend instead of listing it 2 weeks after all the volume died off again, right? On these fast moving tokens. So that was cool, and I think that is a huge competitive advantage they have right now, because I don't see other perplexes listing leveraged tokens fast as that right now on Solana. And I think it's going to get even faster and even crazier in the next couple of weeks with additional listings.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, that wraps up this week's edition of Soul Brothers. Simon, you want to take us away?
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to another edition of Soul Brothers. You guys have a blessed week and stay safe out there. Make sure to follow us on YouTube and subscribe to the account. Maybe even leave a comment on the video if you watch it on YouTube. And remember, we are live streaming as well. So you can join these live streams every single week on Mondays and on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays-ish for the second stream of the week if you want to be in the comment section and get the news when they are fresh. Until then, stay safe out there, and we'll see you at the next one. Peace out.
Woo.
Okay.
Man.
Lots yapping. Who do we have here? Crypto Terminator Musk already said 5,000 things. Be bullish. That's very good. We also have Jan here. I don't know if he's still with us, but GM brother, I hope you're fine. I don't know where the fuck you are and how you're doing, but I hope you're good. I believe you are. We also got Spud here, I believe. So thanks, Spud, for jumping in.
We fucking love Spud. We
Shut
see you over at Breakpoint. I don't know what accent that was. I was going for British, and that was not British. What was that? That was brutal.
That was retarded Australian or something. I don't know what that was.
I think we call that a bogan. But
great.
Am I allowed to say that word? Is that like the N word for Australians? Bogan?
I actually don't know. I don't think it's super popular. I don't think it's.
I think it's the equivalent of saying. I think it's like redneck. It's like saying redneck.
I guess they're not all rednecks.
No. All Australians are Falcons. Yeah.
Whatever. Definitely not Spud though. Like he sounds different. But he's also not the typical UK lad that is like drinking beer and annoying people. He's different. Eno's Brit card is revoked.
It's okay. I can revoke. I'm sorry about that, Spud. That was horrible.
We also got UP Syndrome Gaming in the chat. So that was good as well. GM and Cool Guys here as well with us. No. So thanks guys for jumping in. We're gonna close down the stream. We got shit to do. It is early in the morning. Not early, but it's in the morning here in Germany. So I got my day before me, and has his evening and night shift before him. So let's wrap it up. And we'll see you people as well in the next stream.
Yeah, we'll see you very, very soon. Take it easy, guys. Adios.